The U.S. Supreme Court is hearing arguments in a case that could impact what free speech means. The court is hearing the case of a Colorado baker who refused to make a wedding cake for a gay couple in 2012. Justices have already ruled that the Constitution protects same-sex marriage nationwide. The case will determine how far that right goes. To help us better understand what's at stake with this case is CBS News Chief Legal Correspondent Jan Crawford. Jan was in the courtroom today. She joins me now from Washington, D.C. So, Jan, this court case pits freedom of speech and freedom of religion against freedom from discrimination. Can you explain this?
Yeah, I mean, these are these bedrock principles of constitutional law. And I mean, on the one hand, you have this devout Christian baker who says the government can't force him to say things that he doesn't agree with and, in fact, go against his deeply held religious beliefs. So as a result, he shouldn't have to, make a wedding cake for a same-sex couple because he believes that is at odds with the teachings of the Bible. But then you have, on the other hand, this loving same-sex couple. They were married back in 2012 and went in and wanted a cake for a celebration ceremony, and they were denied service. They say that's just flat-out discrimination, that because of some of the past rulings of the Supreme Court that have established a principle of equality and liberty for same-sex couples, that the baker is wrong and that he discriminated against them.
Well, if the court rules with the baker, how could that impact businesses nationwide?
Well, I mean, that was one of the big concerns, especially of the liberal justices in the courtroom this morning. They were really worried that this will go well beyond wedding cakes, and it could apply to a range of businesses. Let's think about, for example, weddings. Justice Elena Kagan, for example, asked, what about the photographers, the makeup artists, the florist, the jeweler who designs the ring? Justice Ginsburg was asking some of these questions as well, that this will go well beyond a baker. And Justice Anthony Kennedy, who's kind of this moderate man in the middle who has been the decisive vote to expand gay rights over the years, he seemed troubled by that as well.
All right, that was going to be my next question. Where does it look like each justice stands now, particularly Justice Kennedy?
Well, I mean, I think this is a case where all eyes are on Justice Kennedy, because in gay rights cases, the court always divides along ideological lines. You've got 4 conservatives on one hand, 4 liberals on the other, and Justice Kennedy has always provided that decisive tie-breaking 5th vote with the liberals to expand gay rights, legalize same-sex marriage, and today he was impossible to predict. I mean, there's no way you could tell what Justice Kennedy was going to do based on his arguments. He seemed very troubled by the fact that a ruling for the baker might allow businesses to refuse to participate in same-sex weddings, that it could almost lead to a boycott of same-sex weddings, as he put it. But then on the other hand, he was equally troubled by the baker's religious rights and his rights to religious freedom and religious liberty. And he said this really powerful sentence toward the end of the argument about how tolerance is essential in a free society. And it didn't seem to him that the state of Colorado had been tolerant of the baker's religious beliefs, because there was an accommodation. There were other bakers that could have made this wedding cake. But how he's going to rule, we probably won't know that until the end of the term in June, when this case, I suspect, will be announced.
All right. CBS News Chief Legal Correspondent Jan Crawford. Jan, thank you.